Hi everyone, lee.honish. For the three of you who've never seen me, I'm the former head loss mitigator for IndyMac Bank's HELOC division. I am 20 plus years in the business. I started in the late 90s foreclosing on people, doing spit and spackle rehabs. All I know is REO and asset management. I've worked for 4 major banks. I ended my career with IndyMac Bank. I've been on the road now for the last 3.5 years teaching real estate agents. I've trained over 50,000 real estate agents. I've done over 500 seminars. I am officially the trainer of trainers and your new czar of short sales, self-appointed, self-appointed. Because I don't think Obama's going to do it. Although I think I would make a great czar of short sales. My first active order would be to just like give a wet willy to like the people that, you know, like Joe Stump himself. Wouldn't that be fun? But that's just me. Hi! Here's the rules for the 3 that haven't seen me. I'm fun, okay? Because this is going to be a long day otherwise. So some of the questions from my regulars were a little disappointing before we started. Sadly. Yours was a good question. And the question was presented before we began, why does it seem as though the banks really want to foreclose? And no bank really wants to foreclose. It's actually a perception. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in order today. Let me give you my program for today. I'm into a school format at this time. I'm into the blackboard. I'm back to this yet again. I'm going to go through this beginning, intermediate, advanced levels. I have removed my E5 to the power of C thing that I wrote a master's thesis about, a 26-page letter explaining how egos actually destroy short sales that went so completely far over everybody's head that they looked at me with the blank stare of, so I gave up on it. So we'll do it a different way. And we're going to learn from our mistakes. We're going to learn how to succeed. I'm going to teach you the difference between the truth and right. There is a huge difference. I've spoken for many years, obsessed with being right. I think that's a way to say it, isn't it? You've seen me a lot. My philosophy was to tell you how it was going to be. You either loved me or you hated me. And I didn't have much of a problem with it. There are people here that are definitely in the we love Lee category who bought into the way I think and the way I run things. It was wrong. If I had taught people from day one about what the truth of the situation was, there would be a big difference in the market. And here's exactly what I mean. Does anybody know exactly when the perception of short sales got harder? Anybody have an idea? Pinpointed? Happened recently. Happened within the last 6 months, plus or minus. Right? Somewhere right around summer. I did this with Patty Guilford, a longtime friend of mine. We were talking on the phone. She goes, short sales have perceivably gotten harder. I said, pinpoint it. She goes, I don't know, March, April, May, somewhere in that range. Does that sound about right to you? Everybody follow that? Mm-hmm. Would you like to know exactly the period of time I stopped speaking? Publicly, 3 to 5 times a week? If I'm not speaking on a day-to-day basis about what the banks are doing and being so far out on the other end of the spectrum, there's no balance. It's like our own, you know, political process. Without a left, there's no right. So there's no neutral. There's literally nobody telling you that the banks are lying to you. What are you being told right now? You have a fiduciary responsibility to the bank. You're being told by your brokers, attorneys, and everybody else who isn't bolted down, if you don't do it the right way, you're going to jail. It's all based on fear. The truth? Somebody cite the case law for me of one real estate agent who got popped for trying to do his job. That's all I'm asking. Somebody produce the effing case law. I'm tired of this. Well, there's so many cases pending. Big deal. I'll go file a case if you guys want, so we've got one on our side, but to be brutally honest at this point, I mean, we've let the balance swing so far to the other direction that we've now made the bank a principal in a transaction, right? And that's where the problem comes into. That's what we're really getting at here. How is the bank a principal? Okay, there are 2 principals in the transaction, the buyer and the seller. The bank is a beneficiary on a note, right? They're not related, they're not involved, they're nobody. That's the problem here, that's the truth. But what's happened? Somehow, through influence, and I hate to use the word lobbying, and of course using money to get more money, what's your educational process? Short sales are going to take a long time. Number 2, the bank is going to be in control. They're a principal in this transaction, and therefore you have a fiduciary responsibility to them. What contract did I sign on that subject? I don't remember that contract because I believe I would have to have one to make that happen. The third that I find astounding, you should expect to cut your commission. Number 4, you should expect that your client needs a deficiency at the end of the transaction. That's the general taught process of short sales. And for 3.5 years, I've stood on tabletops, throwing chairs, threatening agents, and saying some very outlandish things. But at the end of the day, what have I said? Don't pay the banks. They want to do your deals. Don't listen to what they're saying to you. Because the truth is, there's an agent somewhere right now on a phone to a bank who's having his commission cut, who's believing a lie, who's believing a story, saying, okay, I'll do it. Dumbass. I mean, legitimately, what are you thinking? You just made it hard for everybody else that I just educated. That's all it takes. And the day I stopped speaking, it all went into the toilet. Maybe that's an arrogant statement on my part. I don't want it to be an arrogant statement. I want you to know the truth. Everybody's perception of short sales changed in approximately May of this year. I know that I stopped speaking in April. I know that every designation that isn't bolted down tried to sell it. I know that every investor who had a get-quick-rich, short sale scheme came out of the woodwork again. I stopped speaking. I mean, everybody got upset at me for speaking what was on my mind, and it was my frustration of this market. The banks work in a very systematic format. You must understand that. They do 2 things. They lend money and they collect money. Never believe otherwise, okay? So we'll get to it all. Last but not least, I'll of course ask you to make a decision on your day. I want you all involved with short sales. I want you really involved with short sales. I have, this is my new home, Las Vegas. I'm here weekly. People ask me, well, don't you need to have like a place here? I have a place here, I have a place in Oceanside, I have a place in Phillips Ranch. I just move from place to place. I now live hotel to hotel or room to room, basically, without being on the road. I just, kind of rotate my locations. But this is just as much of my home as anywhere else that I go these days. And Las Vegas real estate sucks. What do you want me to say on that subject? So I'm going to go out and I'm going to find a hotel that wants to go help people, and I'm going to do things for homeowners, and I'm going to jump up on chairs, and I'm going to make a difference. Because there's nobody else doing it. It's how much can I get paid? No, enough of that crap. If we make an effort to change the market, it'll be better for all of us. And this is the first month. I'm going to do this every month for agents. I'll do quarterlies for homeowners. I'll keep doing my pro bono crap. Stop right now, all right? Or it's going to be a long day for me. I got to get through this video.
Bless your heart.
I know. Going to be a really tough day if you're going to keep that up in the back row. For those of you who don't know me, the few of you that are here, they've all seen me before. This is a new lee.honish. They're not used to this. The old lee.honish would jump up on a chair and throw something at you and demand that you believe me, and you will just take what I offer. And that's not the way I operate anymore. 5 or 6 months ago when I stopped speaking, I learned how to teach people, and I started consulting people, and I went out of my way to educate the masses. And it's been very interesting. And I opened my own mitigation company. It's downstairs. I'll talk about it later. But my whole goal was to come up with flat fee mitigation so you don't have the problems that you have with attorneys and that you have closing deals like you have. So it doesn't come out of your pocket, that it doesn't come out of your commission, that it just closes. Why? I just want to make it better. Stop it. Stop you in the very... you're going to be tough on me today. All right. Let's start at the beginning. Get an update on where we are. I had premiered this information a little while ago, and it's market conditions and where we are right now. So, here we are. We are smack dab. We've got a homeowner with a mindset of a loan mod, lucky us. We've got a bank that makes everybody believe they'd rather foreclose. We've got the wonderful courthouse process, and we have our beautiful REOs that don't seem to exist. For those of you wondering why exactly, I've represented REOs with a tennis ball. It goes with a wonderful story, which I'll tell in just a few minutes. For those of you that read my blogs, you already know the story. For those of you that have seen the show, same thing, different day. All right, but here's the thing. Right now we have homeowners. They have a mindset of 2 things. I'm going to teach them to you because that's how you market to them. Number 1, they believe in loan mods. There is something very broken in a homeowner today where they are under some kind of delusional capacity where they believe that they get to keep their house when they don't make payments. and therefore do a magical loan modification that will somehow magically get them a home. I don't know how it works. What they consistently get is something called a trial loan modification. It gives them 1 year to 18 months at a lower price, and statistically 60% of those people fail on those payments as well. That's exciting. The latest one to hit the market, which is what all my new marketing is about. Did I send you one? I didn't send you one. My latest marketing, I'm very proud of this one, is deed in lieu of foreclosures making a run again. This is like brand new, like within the last couple of weeks. There's a weird mindset right now about homeowners about deed in lieu of foreclosure. How did this one reappear on the market? All right, I'm going to say this about deed in lieu so that we're all on the same page. I like marketing for deed in lieu help. Okay, as a licensed person, you have the ability to help somebody with their deed in lieu. So feel free to create a marketing piece of such. So when they come in and bring you all the paperwork, which resembles a short sale package, I might add, based on the way I do my marketing, you just sit them down and you tell them the truth. You qualify for a deed in lieu. Heck, you might even qualify for a $3,000 check. But I need to let you know, they're going to put the word foreclosure on your credit for the next 5 to 7 years. Because that's the truth. And that you won't be able to rent or buy anything probably in the next 5 to 7 years without a substantial deposit or, you know, a cosigner or something of that nature. But beyond that, it's a hunky-dory little thing. Just toss your keys back to the bank. They'll probably even give you a check for it. Number one response, well, why would anybody do that? Well, I also need to add this to the tale. They're also going to try to seek the deficiency even if they do a deed in lieu. That's the truth. Because the banks are actually, which takes me to my next problem, the bank. Okay, so I got a client who's bent out of shape because they believe in loan mods and they believe in deed in lieu. I've got a bank that is now using their wealth and their might to influence educational process. Why? Okay, let's really think about where we were told it's now your fiduciary responsibility. Number one place, the NAR attorneys. NAR attorneys, they're the ones who started this. NAR attorneys are the ones who started this. How does an attorney that have the big R before your name actually support and pay a check? And yeah, I'm saying this about NAR, screw you all. That's old school, Lee. I had to do it once. I'll call him out on this. How does an attorney that if I were a realtor that I pay money to, that actually knows the law, would say that I have a fiduciary responsibility to a bank? If it's impossible. It's literally impossible. So how does it occur? Well, I can hypothesize and allege that perhaps, I need to say that because this is going to be a World Wide Web video, and that's all I need is another cease and desist order in my life.